Hey, everybody, it's Friday, October 4th. Happy birthday, Grandma. I love you. You're never going to listen to this, but it's okay. I'll tell you about it. And then you'll text me something random about like finding a piano in a park. And I don't know if that feels like a Silent Hill 2 style puzzle, but who cares? It's Friday. Gosh darn it. Welcome to the Giant Bombcast Revengeance, powered by NZXT. I am your host, Jan Ochoa. Joining me, co-captain of the ship. He's navigating the fog. He's trying to jar it. Jeff Grubb.
Happy birthday, Grandma, and happy birthday, Stephanie Grubb. I didn't get you a bunch of analog sticks from Japan. I'm sorry. Dan's got all those. He's got
all of them.
He's got a monopoly on them. I'm sorry about that, but I'll take you to Cheesecake Factory or something.
Even the big ones. I got the big one back there.
Got the big one back there. Yep. But I get my. She said she wanted trees, so I got to go to like Home Depot today and get some like trees.
Does she mean weed?
Oh shit.
Get both.
I'll get both. You
can get both at Home Depot.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Have you met anyone who works at Home Depot? They all have weed on them.
I bought drugs at Home Depot.
Yeah, of course. Who has
When I was in college, and they were like, "Oh, for cheap, you can get these Morning Glory seeds. They'll get you high as hell." And you buy the Morning Glory seeds from the gardening section.
Okay, everyone's done that too. Sure.
Yeah, and then that fucked me up. And I said, "Well, I'm never doing drugs again. That's no good."
Yeah. Last but certainly not least, he's dual sticking life and this podcast. Dan Riker.
Yes. Hello. I just think I got some actual good advice from the Twitch chat here. It's talking about how I don't know how to make veggies, and I need to. It said roast some veggies at 420 degrees for 30 minutes in the oven. Light drizzle of olive oil with a sprinkle of garlic powder and Italian seasoning, and you're good. Broccoli, Brussels, zucchini are my.
That all sounds really good.
That sounds awesome. I could probably do that. I think I can do that.
If you want to start easy, just go get those steamed bags, the frozen
ones.
Put them
in the microwave.
Put them in the microwave for 4 minutes, and they come out.
Does
It's super easy, and you could start there, and you could still put olive oil and garlic powder on that stuff.
Well, I have an air fryer too. I could do that, right? Like,
yes,
totally.
you 100% could do that.
Save you more time, Dan.
Do I put the olive oil on there before the air fryer?
I would drizzle it on afterward. You could probably. It depends on the temperature, but yeah, it'll probably be fine.
Okay, I do it before.
I'm gonna start having vegetables. I'm 40. I should start having vegetables.
That's the vegetable age.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
I'm so ready to hear your veggie tales next week and see what has happened.
I will tell you about our Lord and Savior. Absolutely.
Is zucchini a vegetable?
Yeah. That's a ridiculous question.
Well,
you should be ashamed to say that on a podcast.
Well, that's why I ask. I thought this was a safe space.
It's a vegetable, yeah.
I think it's a vegetable, but it could be a fruit. I wouldn't be surprised if someone explains it's actually a fruit, but I would say it's it.
Okay, well, what's the status of like a cucumber?
I think that's
no, you can't just say it like that and us go past it.
At this point, Dan, I'm so used to him just doing it. You got to just like roll with it.
Say it again.
Cucumber.
No. Is this a shoot?
I for shoot asking if they're a fruit or a veg.
If what's a fruit or a veg?
A cucumber.
I'm talking about the way you're saying cucumber.
Oh, Dan,
is this a work?
Dan, you're a writer. You know about the fluidity of the English language.
Cucumber. No, you can't do that.
You can't ask if it's a work or a shoot because I think he's doing it as a work most of the time. So when it's a shoot, you don't know. That's the whole point.
But like Clifford was a shoot, right?
Clifford was a shoot, yeah.
Okay.
I still don't.
Clifford was a shoot.
.mp3.
You should just .mp3 all our titles no matter the show.
God. By the way, there's a team of woodpecker men 3.5 feet away from
Team Woodpecker Man. Team Woodpecker Man.
Right now, they're installing intimidators on my house.
Intimidators? Okay.
Yeah, woodpecker intimidators getting installed right now.
I got to get a radon mitigation system in my basement because there's too much radon down here. Yeah,
radon's no good.
Let's test it here real quick. Let's see. If it's red, it's bad, everybody. Oh, shit, it's red. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's too much radon in my basement.
Radon in the basement's bad if you spend much time down there.
I'm going to get lung cancer. I never smoked cigarettes, so yeah.
Well, that's why you got to put the game scent back in to counteract it. That's why I was doing that so much, is to try to protect you.
It absorbs radon, that doesn't let it get into you,
Yeah, it's like a reverse hookah lounge.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah, like 10 minutes is not like smoking a full pack. 10 minutes of the game scent is like just exhaling for 2 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do spend a lot of time in this basement. So it's like, oh, that probably has done some damage. I need to like take care of that, get rid of the radon.
Do you think you just need to like see the sun more?
No, that's not an option.
Okay. All right.
That's not,
right.
no way.
Hey, everyone, after you listen to this podcast, it's going to be maybe an hour or so before UPF. Go sit outside for 10 minutes.
It is like we were talking, it is like cooled off. I like feel good about going outside again. I do feel dead the entire summer because it's so hot. I just can't, my brain doesn't work. I hate it so much. And then it cools off a little bit and it's like awakening and like a Neo exiting the Matrix, like gasping for breath is how I feel as soon as it gets a little bit cool. So now it'll be time to go back and do my my morning walks and stuff after dropping off the kids. So I will be back to feeling like a real human being here in a couple of weeks. So I'm looking forward to that.
I'm going to ban and fire and then immediately rehire whoever made the poll about smoking stoves, because I thought, since like, it's a small getaway this weekend because I'm going down to Southern California for a day. I thought like, maybe I'll bum a cig off of someone just to feel something.
Well, how old are you, Jan? You're not 40 yet. That's when you start smoking, right?
I loved your
Jan?
tweet about this today, Jan, that people have thought you've been 30 since you were 12. That's incredible.
It's so true though. Like my 8th grade graduation, I don't know if this is illegal now that I think about it. My principal pulled me and like 2 other boys because I guess we all had like inklings of a mustache or facial hair. And then he pulls out like 4 Bic razors and is like, "You boys have to shave before you can walk the stage." And I'm like, what? What do you mean? I don't know how to do this.
Why would you have to shave?
I guess it was a sin to have facial hair at the age of 12.
Weird. No, that's just cool.
Yeah, you just want a cool teenage mustache. Those are the coolest kinds of mustaches.
Yeah, like a little scraggly, stringy kind, right?
Uh-huh.
Where you have like 4 hairs that are longer than the rest of the hairs. I don't know. It felt really weird, and I told him like, "Yo, Mr. Principal, I feel very uncomfortable, so I'm not gonna." And then the other boys followed suit.
Oh wow! And that's how you became prom king.
Yes.
You know, it's a fun, stupid thing about having facial hair and Invisalign is it hurts every time I take these things out, and I have to take them out every time I eat. And so you only want to do it the minimum amount of times a day you can do it. But sometimes I'll put them in, and a stray hair will get in between the Invisalign and the teeth. And so every time I open my mouth to talk, it's like pulling on a mustache hair.
That
but
sucks.
you do sometimes you're lazy and you don't want to remove them again. So you just got hairs pinned up against your teeth and pulling every time you talk until the next time you eat. It's great. I love having Invisalign. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not that was not a problem with braces. I'll tell you that much.
I would imagine, yeah.
Yeah, although I guess I didn't have a mustache and beard when I had braces, as far as I remember. Yeah.
It's been a minute. It's actually surprisingly been a minute since we've talked about wrestling, and I got to say, seeing so much Jey Uso and him rocking the IC title just really makes me want to just. And my dentist would hate this, but I just really want to redo or get a new grill. And just like Jey Uso, where it's like the bottom teeth, and then you get your fangs up there. I'm like, yeah, I might just make that a semi-permanent thing.
Jan, you got to keep the eye on the prize. I remember being in Philadelphia with you, and you had a whole plan. You're going to become Roman Reigns.
That's true. Boys, okay. Actually, I've been more quiet about the gym progress, but I can do like 5 tricep dips now.
Ooh, that's like, nice. The get up
like
on the bars there. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. The creatine is just turning my stomach inside out, though.
Oh, sure, yeah, but you got to think about how thick you're gonna be. So keep at it.
Exactly. And this is going to be a thick Bombcast Revengeance. We've got a couple of games. Unless anyone else has any other things to get off of their chest.
All I can think about is Detroit sports, and no one wants to hear me talk about that.
No. Here's your Detroit sports minute.
It's going really well. The Lions are good. The Tigers are in the playoffs, and they won the wild card series, and now they're going to play in Cleveland. I'm going to game with Mike on Monday to watch them play playoff baseball. They were 10 games out of the wild card spot in early August, and then they've had the best record since then. So I'm feeling pretty good about it. The Red Wings are looking good. I like sports. It's nice. It's fun.
I'm proud of you. Dan, are either of you in any fantasy football leagues?
I am with the Minottis.
No. I was in one once with people I worked with, and I never checked it once, and I never did any like trades out or anything like that, and I won, and everyone hated it because I put
that's so
no
messed up.
work into it. No, I didn't talk about it, and then I just won.
Yeah, that's so deeply upsetting.
Yeah, they didn't like it.
No one likes that, Dan.
No, yeah, that was just like me.
Did you get money?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, their money. Yeah, it was good.
I almost won the Minottis the first time I was in it last year. I lost in the Super Bowl and barely lost. So
I'm going to get a bunch of money for this Fantasy Critic thing, right?
I was going to say a few weeks back before we knew whether or not Metal Gear Solid was going to come out this year that maybe between the 3 or 4 of us, Sean claims that he's in the mix. I don't believe him. But you, me, and Mike are pretty close. Dan, you kind of have it wrapped up. Like, let's be clear. You have the 3 of the top 11 highest rated games of the year. It is nuts.
That checks out.
Yes, and so you like are by far the favorite to win. Me and Mike, all our games would have to like just completely crush and kind of surprise to have a chance. But if we wanted to have like a friendly wager between the 3 of us, maybe we could figure something out.
I think
$10,000 each we throw into a pool. How about
not
that?
a friendly wager anymore.
Yeah,
Including Tam, Lucy, Jan, everyone, Bacalar.
Cool. I can probably find a country that uses the term dollars that is probably worth like 25 cents. So yeah, I'll do that. Yeah.
Okay.
I think the Vietnamese dong is not doing well, so
I would love 10,000 dongs. Let's go.
.mp3. Video games.
The state of the dong is strong.
Just wait till the Giant Bombcast visits Vietnam. We'll have a lovely time sitting on the streets eating lovely noodles.
I would have the hardest time not coming back home and saying when I was in Nam. So I can't go there.
Oh, that's a good bit.
Yeah, it's a good bit.
Yeah. My whole existence lately is just doing it for the bits.
Yeah, it's bad.
You're a worker. You're a worker.
Yeah. He's only 5 points behind me, jackass.
I really thought for some reason Silent Hill 2 would push me over the edge in a surprise jump, but it seems not. Anyway, I've been playing Wizards of Legend 2. This is out in early access. Came out on Steam earlier this week. This is another Hades-like game, an isometric roguelike. I dig the art style because it kind of reminds me of early League of Legends where it's like pseudo cell shaded. You're a wizard with elemental powers. From the jump, you choose your affinity towards an element, whether it's water, fire, earth, spirit, etc. And from there, you just go on your runs. You are descending or ascending floors by getting through a portal. Follows a very, very straightforward format versus Hades, where it's a little bit more fleshed out. This is still in early access, but I really do like the combat. You have a light attack, your heavy attack has a slight cooldown, and then you have a third elemental attack mapped to one of the bumpers, and those you can charge up. It's really neat. Again, still in early access, so there's still some miscellaneous bugs and some other things popping off, but I've been enjoying my time with it. I've done a couple runs. Grub, you were talking earlier today with Jordan Midler on Game Mess about Saber Interactive and Paramount making an Avatar: The Last Airbender game.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like maybe they should lower the scope from a AAA game and make something similar to a Hades with like the Avatar stuff, because I feel like it could lend itself really well.
I'm with you. I think there's still a lot to be mined from like just making a game. A lot of people, I think a lot of studios say we're going to make a game like Hades, and then they make a game that looks like Hades. I think there should be a lot more of let's make a game like Hades, and then it looks nothing like Hades, but then it has a lot of the similar mechanics. Like you have these basic moves, the set of attacks, and then everything you get either on this run or in the game just augments those things and adds to them. So you already know how to do the dodge, but now the dodge is an attack. So now you could think differently about how you're doing things. And I think that a lot of these franchises, a lot of these things that kind of go in this direction could borrow those ideas. Those have yet to be tapped in a lot of different genres.
Yeah, I like the way that they play around with the elemental stuff. After your first run, you're kind of more open to mix and match some of your elemental attacks. So you're not just, if you choose the earth style, you're not locked into the earth style for the rest of your runs with that specific wizard. I'm interested to see how the game is going to progress. I never checked out the first one, so as I understand it, this one is kind of following more of the Hades formula.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at reviews on Steam right now. It's pretty mixed, and all of the complaints seem to be it doesn't feel quite as much like the first Wizards. Feels more like Hades, and isn't as good as Hades or the first Wizards. It's kind of the general sentiment from fans so far for this early access game.
Yeah. And yeah, that's a delicate balance to walk when you're trying to ape something that is close to perfect, if not perfect, like Hades.
Right.
Hades 2 came out kind of in early access this year. Y'all remember that?
Still holding off. I'm doing the same strategy I did with the first one, where it's like I'll wait till it's done and then I'll play the shit out of it then.
I will. I'll probably pop back in here pretty soon and play some more of that. It's a good game.
Very good game. Also, you go up sometimes, and
You do go
that
up
blew my
sometimes.
mind.
Go up?
I don't
Don't think about it too much.
Okay.
Yeah. Just play the game. Just play the game.
Okay.
A game that you can go up and spend a lot of time in is Balatro.
Oh, yeah. It's
So you think it's still Japan, huh? That's keeping you up at night, and not Balatro?
Well, no, because it's weird, because it doesn't make any sense. Ever since I got back from Japan, which was a week ago, I've had most nights be this thing where I go to bed at a reasonable time. I wake up, like last night, I went to bed at 10:30. I woke up at 11:45 p.m. I looked over the clock and I was like, motherfuck, if I can't get back to sleep. Because I slept for just a little over an hour and went to bed at the normal time. And I actually didn't play Balatro last night. I just laid in bed for like 5 hours, and because I thought, like, well, Balatro is probably going to wire my brain quite a bit. Maybe that's why I've been having trouble, is because I'm playing Balatro, which just wakes you the fuck up. And then I fall asleep at 10 a.m. and sleep through things and wake up at 2 p.m. So I don't think it's Japan. I don't think it's Balatro. I don't know what to blame
It's
it
got to
on.
be a combination of Japan and a bunch of other things.
Yeah.
Dan. You're not suddenly just incapable of sleeping after your random trip to Japan.
That's true.
I don't think there's some underlying health issue. I think there's just you're having
It's just weird and annoying. I just
weird
want to be able to
remnants of a
sleep.
bunch of different things happening at the same
Yes.
time. Yeah.
Jan says seeing Megalopolis tonight will fix me. So
100%.
I'm looking forward to that.
I think it's gonna wake you up more than anything has ever.
I'm gonna feel alive for the first
It's gonna
time.
wake up your third eye.
Yeah, there's so
Yes.
many movies I want to watch, and I
Waking.
don't want to watch Megalopolis, but I feel like I have to.
I have to.
I
It
have to.
sounds so he spent like $130 million of his own money on this. It has made $7 million, and it's about to leave theaters.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
This
to me.
is
I need to see it.
incredible.
Yep.
And
I don't think I'm going to be able to see it in the theaters, but I'm going to try to track it down as quickly as I can.
Aubrey Plaza's character name is Wow Platinum.
What is Henry McHenry's name? It's like something like
It's something
Devin
weird too.
Cicero.
It's something really weird. It seems like it's just an incomprehensible movie. I keep hearing the Annette comparisons. I'm so fucking excited.
Yeah.
I just love I don't know if you can tell between like Kojima and Annette and stuff. Just bold, weird, even if it's like incomprehensible. I just love
the
it when
quality
nobody
kind of
says
doesn't
no to
matter
someone.
at a
What's
certain
that?
point. The quality doesn't super matter to me if it's going to be extra weird.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
like they're operating on different wavelengths at a certain point, and it's like, oh, I just want someone to try this, and I don't care if it's good or not. I just want it to be weird.
Yeah, it's like Evangelion. I remember those last couple episodes of the show and just hearing that they were
Famously
very
terrible
polarizing
show,
stuff.
yeah.
But I fucking loved it. I was like, man, just nobody said no to this dude. Like, I love it. Like, that's why, like, Death Stranding, like, I hated it at first, but then it's like, wait a minute, no, I think I love this.
I feel like everything that I've seen from Megalopolis and everything about Hideo Kojima, I feel like those two, Francis Ford Coppola and Baz Luhrmann, would have a hell of a time taking peyote together. Has Kojima seen? He's probably seen a Baz Luhrmann joint, right?
Oh, certainly, yeah.
I
He's probably
just-
tweeted about him.
I just want to watch.
I just kind of realized
Stop.
what I was doing. I just like started opening the game on my tablet without even really thinking.
Oh, I've been deep in the Balatro hole. I've also been getting back into that Metal Gear hole because I've been watching my sister stream it, and she's on 3 now. And I just keep with the remake coming out, I'm just fully back and like, oh right, Metal Gear is the coolest fucking thing ever. So I've been going back to Metal Gear Scanlan now. Thanks to Sean for putting those all together on YouTube and just being like, okay, let me go back to the part where the Colonel starts going nuts and see how Drew reacted to that. Let me go back to the Snake Eater intro and see how Drew thought about that. And so I just spent like a night or two ago, I just was up late just watching Drew play Metal Gear again. It's been 10 years and it's like, oh man, I'm all the way back in. I'm so excited about Metal Gear again.
Yeah, it's definitely one I keep thinking, that's time to play that full series.
I blame Jason Schreier though for me digging my Balatro hole even deeper, because I guess I never thought of just playing for the high card. I always went for flushes and straights. And then I just couldn't get my runs to match up and try and do the high card run. But I wound up doing pairs.
I've been doing pairs and 2 pairs a lot lately. That's been my thing. Yeah.
Pairs, and like I am getting like the best scores of any of my time with Balatro.
Yep.
So I blame Jason Schreier for this.
Well, with the high card one, it's like when you get that one where it's like we will make a copy of the first card you play as long as it's played by itself. So it's like, and then if you get that with like some of the stuff that can do fun stuff with kings, like he was saying, and then you play a king, high card each time you start it, and if it has the badges on it and all these things, and if you start getting a bunch of like steel cards for everything else in your deck, everything just stacks so hard. And yeah, I've done multiple high card runs, like a lot. That's actually what I was doing earliest when I started playing the game, and it feels so good. You're like, I think this is a bad idea, and you put it down, and then everything pops off, and you're like, whoa, okay, it worked.
I love when you get a few jokers together that just work so perfectly. Like I had one recently where it was like, okay, this joker will strip any addition to a card, like wild or whatever, and every time it does that to an enhanced card, it adds like 0.25 to the X, the multiplier. But then I also had one that was like, all played face cards become gold cards. And then I had one that was all cards are considered face cards. So literally every time I'm playing cards, they're becoming gold. And then this other joker is stripping the gold away and adding to the times whatever multiplier. And it's just becoming, it's like, now I've got this 25 times multiplier on this one joker. It's fucking awesome.
Yep, it rules.
Yeah. Oh God. Speaking about joker synergy, I had a run where I finally started messing with the probability jokers, where I had one where like 1 in 4 chances of the played hand will upgrade the hand. And then I had combined it with a joker that ups all the probabilities. So I had like a level 16 or 17 flush by the time I got to the Annie 8, and it was insane. Like I didn't have to, I only had those 2 jokers. Because they just kept upgrading itself. It was fantastic. Balatro is going to be the end of us.
It's just really good.
What is this? Hang on, I got somebody tweeted in the chat.
Oh my God.
Hater tweeted out, I was in the booth today playing a role I've not played since ...
Wait, and then is this him replying to it?
Oh, he's just replying with a fucking gif of Snake.
What?
Okay.
Or Naked Snake.
I mean, it could be like an ad for Delta, right?
I mean, that timing would, it's just some new thing recorded for Delta, but that's still cool.
That's
Much as I
really
love the Keef, I love Keeper, not as Snake.
No.
My Snake needs to talk all the time.
Yes, he was underutilized as Snake, and also he wasn't David Hayter.
Right. But then again, storyline-wise, well, Grumpy might not know the storyline situation, but I guess there's, he's not Snake.
Okay, yes, right.
Yeah. Yes. But then again, wait, he did before the. Never mind. Doesn't make any fucking sense. All right.
Speaking about digging holes, Grub, you, Nikki, and I spent some time driving through holes and mud in Expeditions, a Mud Runner game earlier this week for Infrastructure Week.
Yeah, we got the multiplayer going for that, and that was added a few weeks ago. Which came out way after the game actually launched, and so it was fun to actually get in there and see how that worked. It is similar to how the multiplayer has worked in Snow Runners and I think Mud Runners, but definitely Snow Runners, where it is, it's going to be the sessions. You're going to join someone else's game. You're going to help them complete the tasks, and but you were like limited. You had like one vehicle you could use at a time, and I guess I could like fill my world with trucks. So it's still not what I want from these games, which is kind of like a persistent world where we are unlocking stuff together, and I could work on stuff for a little bit, and then you could join later, and we could work together, and then when I gotta go, you can keep playing, and we're all working towards like a common goal. I think that's the ideal, and really with that Roadcraft game that Saber's working on now, seems like it might be ideal for that. Like that's actually the direction they might be going. But in the meantime, just kind of going through the Grand Canyon. With these big heavy trucks, trying to deliver a seismic vibrator to the other side of the Grand Canyon, and getting stuck in mud.
Can I do my best, Mike Minotti? Can you say that sentence again?
Yeah,
he looks over this way on his frame. Okay.
Yeah. So just drive across the Grand Canyon, trying to deliver the seismic vibrator. Just it was pretty good, Jim. It is just fun to like get into a mess, get into a situation, and then start yelling at each other about how are we going to solve this? Someone needs to do something. I'm stuck here. I'm out of gas. How are we going to solve these problems? And it's a good time. And the physics continue to be the big star here, where you're like, okay, it looks like I can get through here, and you didn't see that like one little part of that dirt track was actually wet and muddy, and now your entire wheel is submerged under that mud, and you could just see it flying everywhere. And it looks cool, it feels cool, and then it creates these sort of organic puzzles to solve, and I was having a good time.
Yeah, this isn't normally my cup of tea when it comes to driving games, but after checking out with y'all, and then I wound up spending a little bit of time on my own, I did start to enjoy the puzzle element of expeditions where, oh no, I'm stuck. I ran out of gas. Well, let me go summon another car. Oh no, that one's also stuck. Shit. And then it's learning.
There's like in Mud Runners, it would be like, okay, you're rebuilding this flooded town in Michigan, so you are going to spend 2.5 hours trying to get these 3 trucks and the other 2 trucks there are just there as support. The main truck is going to deliver all the goods, but you got to get across this like flooded grassland area, and it's a real pain in the ass, and you are going like a couple feet per minute. But once you get across and you deliver everything, now you've built a new road that makes going back and forth from that area permanent, and that feels really good. Expeditions has some of that, a little bit less. It's much more bite-sized chunks, but it's like all of that like still feels really good. And Expeditions being more bite-sized, I think, does make it more friendly for most people coming into the multiplayer here.
Yeah, what I was going to add, it's just so interesting having to account for your axles being engaged or disengaged.
Yeah, the differentials and stuff like that.
Differentials. Yeah. And then having to be mindful of what gear you're on, and then your tire pressure. And it just fills me with a lot of things.
All that affects like the gas mileage and stuff like that. Yeah.
It fills me with so much anxiety, but it's kind of like a fun tension that you're building for yourself, because, you know, there's no real big story. You just got to get from point A to point B, follow the critical path that you're making. And it's just fun. I think all vehicles should also have winches. Winch everything.
Yeah, the winches is very fun. Yeah,
Grub, we were playing years ago now.
Snow Runner, like very early on when we both kind of just started back here again.
Yeah. We were trying to like winch each other out of this like muddy thing where we both kept falling over. Like that was super fun.
We had like giant trucks. Yeah, it was. That was good. Yeah. And it's that was actually on the Michigan level. Yeah, and that was a good time. And there's so much to like these trucks. That's like where you keep playing and you unlock new trucks, and you can get cranes, and then you're actually like physically, it's not like, oh, you press the crane button and it will teleport the stuff onto your truck. There is some of that stuff, but there's some missions where it's like, okay, now I'm going to go in the back of the truck, control the crane, and pick up these logs and try to place them very carefully in the back of the truck and try to stack them up and now deliver them to the other side of the map. And it's all, again, just these very bespoke physics puzzles that feel very good to interact with. So yeah, I continue to really appreciate Saber keeping this franchise going. You know, it started as like this almost a tech demo called Spin Tires on Steam, which to this day I think still might have the best actual mud deformation physics of them all. But as games, they keep getting better. And again, now Roadcraft looks like the combination of all these ideas, and maybe actually learning a little bit from the Strand game genre a little bit. So I'm excited about the future of it.
Boyos, let's get to the game of the week.
Yeah,
big release, Silent Hill 2 remake. is now, I guess the review embargo's up. It's not out yet.
So I haven't been playing this, but you two have played at least some of it, and Jan, I think you've been going at it pretty hard for the last couple of days. Let me ask some questions here. First, like, what is y'all's history with Silent Hill up to this point?
I have always appreciated the series. I don't know if I ever loved any of them enough to beat them. I'd say 1, 2, and 4 I played the most of. I think I reviewed some of those like 360 era, like Homecoming, those types, you know. But I've always appreciated them. I always liked that. Like I looked at Silent Hill and Resident Evil back on PS1 as like and PS2 as kind of two sides of horror, where it's like Resident Evil was jump scare, you know, zombies in your face. Silent Hill was like more of a Jacob's Ladder type psychological horror going on, and I did find it extremely unsettling. It's just I think I didn't play through them all because I was never good at like I played action games for the most part, and so I was never great at like ammo management, avoiding enemies. I always felt like I had to engage with every I think I just sucked at the games, frankly, including Resident Evil. So like I think I appreciated the tone and what they were doing and the weirdness. You know, there's things like the dog ending and all that stuff that I always thought was just like the funniest shit. But I just never really enjoyed the act of playing them that much. And like my memory of 2 is going up to 1 billion doors in an apartment building and them all being locked. And as I played through this one, like, again, this is more of a criticism of me and maybe these games not historically being for me. It held true where it's like, I'm going through the same fucking apartment buildings. I'm checking 1 million locked doors right now. But maybe that's just what it is. And maybe it's not for me as much.
Yeah. My history with the game, similar to Dan's, but I was too spooked as a kid to check out Silent Hill 1, 2, and then the subsequent releases. So I eventually, with with Jess, actually checked them out for the first time here on the website, Run for the Hills. It's all on giantbomb.com. Go check that out. Where Jess is guiding me through the series. And I think because, I started to look at the games through Jess's eyes, and she has a very, very deep appreciation for the series as a whole. I think I started to appreciate the series and kind of commiserate with the Silent Hill freaks out there that they carry a similar flag to my Kingdom Hearts freakdom of like, oh, okay, I understand this hurts for y'all, but this hurts for y'all especially because where you are looking across the street and you see Resident Evil having a booming success with the remakes, you're kind of left in the dust because of Konami not knowing quite how to handle its IP. But playing through 1 and 2, I think I had the benefit of having someone that considers himself an expert that I could kind of gain that appreciation. And also, when you play a game on stream, it's a different experience than when you're playing it by yourself because, you're bouncing off of your co-host and the folks watching and everything. And I don't know why we had decided to play it first thing in the morning every Friday. But that was the worst way to wake up on a Friday.
Yeah, my memory is always renting it on PlayStation and then like late on a Friday or Saturday night, I'd be playing. Kayla would be sitting on the bed behind me and just like, pillows, pulled up over her face, like covering her eyes and stuff like that. Like super scary. The whole house is dark. Like that seems like the way to do it.
But I do want to say this, that I hate playing horror games. Like I love horror movies. I fucking hate all horror games because I don't like being scared. Because I my instincts kick in and I just want to like jab at something.
Do you like roller coasters? Do you like
love roller coasters? It's just the actual playing of scary games.
Got it.
Do it.
Yeah, because I think the fight or flight, like the being on a roller coaster, it's like I have to go with this, and then when you're playing a game, it's like I have to push forward, and I kind of just want to actually fight this thing, and the game's going to decide whether that's possible or not.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
It seems like it does seem well made. I mean, I see it's getting generally good reviews, and I
it's 88 on OpenCritic or something like that. It's really good reviews. Yeah,
it's got the map system's good. There's like nice quick turn and everything. It's interesting in that like when RE remakes went over the shoulder for like 1 and 2 and 3, it suddenly became way more of an action game. It became more like 4, 5, 6. This does a similar perspective shift. It's more behind the back, but it's still very much survival horror. It doesn't suddenly turn like, the encounters don't feel like action encounters. They feel like Silent Hill. Like I'm just beating this thing with a stick, which I think is interesting. It stays pretty true to what Silent Hill felt like back then.
Yeah, 100%. I wound up in my time so far with the game about 8 hours in. So, for folks wanting to know where I'm at now, I'm at the second stage of the hospital.
Mm.
If that puts things into perspective, the game is also much longer. In that they kind of have taken the little bits that could kind of breeze through in the original Silent Hill 2 and kind of stretch them out, not stretch them out in an artificial way, but like really giving you something to explore. Um, One of the things I really enjoy, Dan, in like the early bits of the game is once you get the stick, the game will constantly flash up the tooltip. Hey, you can break windows.
Yeah,
And
it's fun. Feels good.
I spent a lot of time breaking windows.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's probably by design because James Sunderland is not like a cop or someone trained with firearms, that the shooting is absolutely abysmal in the game.
Yes.
It takes a very long time for the cursor to focus on the middle on the enemy. So using your gun is, I just wouldn't recommend it. If you are a person like me and you try and explore every single nook and cranny, you start drowning in ammo. I don't know where you're at with like ammo, Dan, or if you're like critical pathing it, but I have too many bullets that I just wind up just shooting the gun off before it even focuses in, just to if I see an enemy from far away. But I would just recommend just sticking with the melee.
Okay.
The dodge is also very good for what it's worth. That's a new addition to the game. I don't know how I feel about the over the shoulder stuff. I feel like you do have to change Silent Hill to kind of replicate Resident Evil 2's or Resident Evil Shift to over the shoulder, because I don't know how modern audiences would feel about static cameras. I just feel like it wouldn't hit where we're at now.
I really love them. I think they're great.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I do too, but I
was
think
never
Jim's
someone
right.
who complained about tank controls. Like, I love that vibe of like the early Resident Evils. I thought it was so cool. And even when they, like 2015 or so, they put out new versions of the RE1 remake where it was still static cameras, but it was, you could do just basically like not tank controls. It's up is up, down is down, no matter what. And it kind of fucks you up when the camera shifts.
Oh,
And, like
yeah,
you
yeah,
see
yeah.
why they did the tank control. So it's like, I think I've always been a tank control defender and that static camera defender. But there's no denying how incredible the RE2, specifically the RE2 remake, and I guess 4 now, just tremendous. So you can't fault him for wanting to shift it up a little bit.
Oh yeah, and I do think that this, based on the reactions, is this game will not feel antiquated to people who show up for this version of it. This will feel like a modern game, and that's a good start for something like this that is looking to find new audiences.
Yeah.
There is some stuff like the puzzles are very much, like a very adventure game element. Like,
Sure.
okay, I'm going to find this half of a record, and then I'm got to find the other half of the record and press the right buttons on the thing. There's a lot of that early survival horror puzzle
Yeah, but
solving.
that does feel like a vestige of the genre that people appreciate and can live with. Where I think the static cameras, which is much as I agree with you, and I really like that stuff, and I like Crow County, where it's where we get games that try to mock that today and do that same stuff. They're not going to be able to get away with that for a big budget remake.
Right.
Yeah. They deal with the puzzles in an interesting way. There are two I guess difficulty sliders in terms of the combat and then the puzzles. I haven't changed them from the default, so I can't speak as to what they specifically change.
I want to say they add like there's a puzzle I think it's in the apartment building where you're getting these coins, and there's like 3 different the man looks to the west and the sun rises with the seed grows when the sun is above. Like you got to figure out where to put the metals or whatever. I want to say it adds like levels to that where it's like, maybe there's 3 on medium
like
and
the
then 5 or
stanzas
something.
and everything.
Yeah, I don't know specifically, but I think it could just make some of them lengthier or more complicated.
Sure. But they do a really good job with the map where James will like kind of denote if you have a new clue or if you have a new puzzle piece of like, okay, he'll X out a location that you've completed a place and then kind of circle of like question mark, should I go here? Because at first you're kind of just miscellaneously just roaming around and you don't have real direction until you get the ball rolling and you find your second map of the actual town of Silent Hill. The game looks great. I think the fog is a little too much at times. It's very oppressive.
Sure.
And I understand they're using that as like like a storytelling device of like, oh, what's going on in the fog.
That might be the best example of like a game from that 32 or 64-bit era where it's like, fog was such a common complaint, specifically on 64. It was really bad about that, just to hide things and make it run better. But like Silent Hill, like narratively justified it maybe better than any game ever has.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think any other games even tried to. I think Silent Hill.
No, it's just like, game sucks. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, Turok. You can't see more than 10 feet in front of you.
But like they dinge the hell out of this game up. Like things feel dirty, things feel gross and disgusting. When you see your first enemy, like I felt gross because even when Jess and I were playing through Silent Hill 2, we were playing an upgraded fan mod of the game, so it looked better than the original PS2.
Oh wow, okay, cool.
But yeah, seeing how the enemies look and they're like weird BDSM flesh bags that are like bleeding and they're like puking on you. It just makes me feel mad icky. And some of them have heels, it looks like.
There's a lot of like squishy sounds as you're putting your arm into a hole, stuff like that.
Yeah,
man, come on.
I've seen some people say that stuff is over the top. Do you guys feel like that is a problem, or is it just like, no, this is in line with everything else?
That's what the game is. You know what you're signing up for,
Yeah, okay. I would have seen it as like, okay, this is like a modern reimagining of it, of what if they had the tools back then, what the game would have looked like. I think the acting in this is really freaking good.
It's got that Twin Peaks vibe. You know? Just that weird kind of surreal, like odd line reads and stuff like that. Like it's good.
And I feel like I hope that fans of the original Silent Hill 2's line readings and acting aren't thrown off that it is kind of less cheesy. It still has, like you said, Dane, that Twin Peaks quality to it, where things are kind of off kilter, but the acting has improved so much that, oh, okay, I kind of actually understand everyone's motivations from the jump versus it's slowly being revealed to me. And I hope that fans don't mind that, because if I were a newer fan trying to play this game, I think I would have been thrown off if they had kept like the original style of the cheesy acting and kind of like poor direction for some of the scenes. In the first instance where you meet another person very early in the game, it's like first 5 minutes.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was very effective.
Yeah.
Just because I know what winds up happening with that character in the future. I thought it was really good. And I think James, they kind of play him up to be more sympathetic of a character, where I imagine for folks that aren't aware of the twists and turns that the story takes, that the endings may be more effective for you to kind of be more distraught in how James your perception of James and the other characters evolves through it. And yeah, I think the other characters that you wind up being introduced to, they are more hard hitting with the acting. That I think I had the benefit of having Jess to explain and translate the world of Silent Hill 2 to me, where a lot of it was falling upon deaf ears because I fucking hate playing scary games. And I had misconstrued a bull for being a cat because I don't know animals, I guess. But now seeing it through this modern lens and the Silent Hill 2 remake, I think all of those details that a lot of hardcore Silent Hill 2 fans kind of like scraped from the original game, a lot of that will be much, much easier to read for people checking it out for the first time. And goddamn, it is fucking scary. I hate that I got the code so late, and then I was thinking, well, I have to play it at night. There's no choice.
Yeah,
I work during the day. For folks that are a big fan of the music from the original Silent Hill 2, there have been a couple new arrangements to some of that music, but it all still fucking bangs. It still goes super duper hard.
I think the original composer did the remixes, right? I think that's the case.
I believe so. Yamaoka, I wanna say.
Sounds right. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it sounds very solid. It sounds like maybe not quite as good as a Resident Evil remake, but what is? This seems like, well, it's just about as close as you can get without being that good. What do you guys think happens next with Silent Hill? Obviously, they announced a lot of Silent Hill stuff. There's Silent Hill Forte, I think, is the next real one, whatever that it means. But do you think like Bloober Team returns and does one or three?
So like here's my question. A lot of people were initially very, very hesitant about Bloober Team handling the Silent Hill 2 remake.
That's right.
But I think Bloober Team actually knocked that out of the park.
Seems like a good fit for what they had here. Yeah.
And I hope this changes perception of the studio and kind of gives them more trust to handle not just Silent Hill, but other horror IP moving forward, even if it's like original stuff. But I wonder now if the perception is going to be with Bloober Team specifically of, well, you guys had a blueprint to work with for Silent Hill 2. We still can't trust you for a new Silent Hill. And I hope that's not the perception, because I think at this point,
have to prove themselves there too. Yeah.
I think at this point, I do trust Bloober Team to perhaps take on their own Silent Hill project.
That's the thing, is like I worry that they announced so many Silent Hill things at once that it's going to be kind of scattershot based on who's working on it. Because like this remake was well done. There was that weird online thing, the
TV show,
show thing, which seemed like people hated that. You know, it seems like it's going to be all over the place. But Silent Hill is a franchise that I think could have a future with new entries under Konami if they do it right. Unlike like Metal Gear. Like as a Metal Gear fan, I don't want them to make more Metal Gear projects that are new. That was Kojima's thing. And also the story was complete. You know, we don't need more. Like that story has a beginning and an end. I don't want new Metal Gear Solid games. I want remakes of everything. So like that's the thing. It's like I want Konami to keep doing remakes of Metal Gear Solid that are really good, but Silent Hill can have a future beyond that. They just have to make sure they get the right people working on it.
Right. So Forte is from Neobards Entertainment, published by Konami. And a departure for the majority of the previous entries in the series. The game takes place in 1960s rural Japan instead of the titular town. We saw the trailer to like allude to all this stuff, but it's like, I mean, there's sounds like them doing something that can stand on its own by separating itself from other Silent Hill games a little bit, and that's probably a smart idea.
Yeah. I'm definitely interested in more Silent Hill. Just use the name as a vehicle for weird, freaky fog games.
Good name. It's a good name.
They should also do Silent Hill Survive. Make it a base building game.
That's why I don't want more Metal Gear games.
There was a lot of fog in that game too.
Yeah.
I would actually be very interested to have Bloober Team just go ahead and remake Silent Hill 1.
Yeah, that's probably the move here. Yeah. Do 1, then do 3, and then at that point, if they are still hitting on all cylinders, like if they improve those games, I know people prefer Silent Hill 2. If they improve those games, and maybe they like fix 4, which I think people don't like, then at that point, is that the?
I thought the room was all right.
Is the room? Some of these, I don't really know this franchise that well. A handful of them people don't like as much, and if this is an opportunity for them to go back and sort of reestablish the series, and then at that point, if like Bloober's still interested, if Konami's still engaged, if these games are still selling, maybe at that point that they can kind of continue that side of the franchise.
I couldn't help but feel that I was getting Silent pilled as I was playing the game, and like the small details that they've added to James as a character and as you're playing as him, because it still can kind of be cumbersome to control, where you have to hit like a bumper button to start sprinting, and I know you can toggle that. There are also a lot of accessibility options in this as well. High contrast mode. You can do the whole hold to do quick time events stuff, and a bunch of stuff to get around the game being so damn dark. But I don't know I know I am not doing well, but specifically in the game, because James just sounds so stressed and aggravated through every single action he's doing, I think I wound up finding myself with the stick, kind of like after an enemy was definitely dead, I just kept mashing on the button and just stomping and hitting with the stick and stomping and hitting with the stick and stomping and hitting with the stick. And then it just like hearing James's characters be like, I'm like, oh man, that's like me sometimes. Oh, that's great. And then my favorite,
you're so psychosexual, Jan.
That's
what we all say.
That's my brand. And I love it in games across the board after you stop sprinting or running, where like the character will just sound super fucking exasperated and actually shoot tired. Just small things that they've added to this. I've seen some people complain about the jump scares in this. I don't care. It's fine. It's a scary game. What do you expect?
I'm more bothered by stuff like, okay, I'd like to go up this staircase because I just need to get up to that floor, but there's a milk crate there, so how could I possibly pass that? It's like, oh, great, okay, that's like I don't have a lot of tolerance for that stuff.
Yeah. They do a lot of blocking off of paths.
Yes.
You got to just summon a water block and you can swim right over.
Oh
that.
God, I've been going nuts with the water blocks.
Yeah, water block's good. Yep. Yeah. Have I told you? I told you about the waterboarding method?
No.
So yeah, that's how this is a waterboarding game for me now. You spawn a water block, you use bind on any enemy, pretty much any enemy in Echoes, and you just drag them in the water block, and they drown immediately.
That's fucking awesome.
Yes, that's that game. That's
that
like so passing on stuff like that, and yeah, I am really loving it at this point.
Yeah. How many pips do you have on your try there? I got 5.
I'm up. I think I'm about to get to 5 because I've done multiple ones where it's like it will reduce the cost on some stuff. I've done that multiple times, so I'm like, I know the next thing I'm gonna get is 5 because I still have a couple things that cost 5.
When you've reduced a bunch of costs and then you get 5, like I got 5 Tektites. Fuck you. You know?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's doing again. I'm just everything's getting more complicated with like the things I'm willing to try. It's it's a good game.
It's really good.
Fantastic. A lot of good games, and I hate it. Too many good games.
Having a good time with it. I like it.
Chad, just because I'm waterboarding things doesn't make me evil. Come on.
I waterboarded Tim Turry in Mexico, and I'm not evil.
Yeah, you're not. You're the least evil person I know.
I shoot waterboarded my friend.
MP3.
Ben Hansen was complicit too. Ben Hansen was also waterboarding him.
Okay. As long as Hansen was doing it.
Okay. All right. That does it for this week. Folks, if you're watching, listening live, stay tuned in a bit for Unprofessional Fridays. We're going to cap off Infrastructure Week. I kind of got the appetite now, boys. I want to play some scary stuff, despite hating scary things.
Yeah, we'll play a lot of scary stuff. That Hollow Body game, we'll get that going. We are going to play Until Dawn on Monday. Going to try to play quite a bit of it, so then maybe we could wrap it up on Wednesday. And like with that mouth washing game from I Am Fish developer, whatever that game was called. It looks like it's a good 8 hours.
Seen Zoocosis popping off as well.
And then we could do stuff that's like not supposed to be scary, but kind of like spooky themed. New Diablo content will be out. That Halls of Torment game looks like it has skeletons in it. So yeah, I am ready for it. I'm right there with you.
Folks, we had a wonderful week here at giantbomb.com celebrating Infrastructure Week. Please go back, check out any and all of the streams we did. Voicemail Dump Truck yesterday, another all-timer. Every week is an all-timer.
And be sure for next Voicemail Dump Truck, call 707-EXIT-FLU. Food-related questions, as I've invited Chef Reactions back onto the show. It will be me, Mike Minotti, and Chef Reactions. So get your food questions in. If there's anything you've heard us say that Chef Reactions was not aware of, now's your chance.
It'll be a fantastic time. We also built Giant Bomb Land. Bailey Myers was the architect to building our theme park. My favorite feature of the Giant Bomb Land theme park, besides all the horror music playing, was the G Spot TM. We also played a little bit of Minecraft this week. Grub, Sean, Mickey, and I were.
Yeah, it was kind of like a public airing of grievances more than anything else. But yeah, absolutely.
Was it?
I just listen. There was one block, and then there was 2 blocks, and I got gaslighted. Is all I know.
I think we all just need to work on our spatial awareness, and that spatial awareness includes our friendship.
That's right. Be aware of the spatial awareness of your friends. Yeah.
Also, Mike wrapped up Alone in the Mitch. The finale is now on the website.
With precision and intention, he beat the game. He no luck.
Intentionality is the right way to describe what happened with everything involving the ending of that game. Yeah,
it was a perfect Fight Club game. If you have not seen the Alone in the Mitch stuff, holy shit, just incredible.
Please circle back.
Me and Mike were like, I know it's a long ways off before we get to choose another game for you, but me and him did start talking about maybe that'd be funny if Dan played that. So.
Well, Lucy took my spot, so it's going to be a long time.
Listen, and the overseers picked 2 games for you anyhow, so it's going to be a long time.
Yeah.
We shouldn't hint at anything, right?
What are you thinking?
No, I asked that, and because I thought I wanted to, and everyone pointed out part of the fun is the surprise when she comes out in the costume, and that's a very good point.
Yes.
And hey, costume's going to be a funny reveal. So
I can already.
Yeah, so she opens the package first. That's gonna. I can
was
imagine
thinking
the
the same
thought
thing.
process.
Yep, exactly.
And then swerve. Okay. Okay. Got it. Now you're
swerve.
thinking with Russo.
Exactly.
I can already imagine Lucy saying, "What is this? Oh my, what?" Anyway, folks, that about does it for Bombcast Revengeance. Turns out Silent Hill 2 remake, it's good. Bloober didn't blunder. They made a good game. So trust them. Also a bunch of games coming out constantly.
Oh yeah, constantly. Too many.
Too many. Folks, and go and enjoy the weekend. Spend 10 minutes outside. Thanks for watching the Giant Bombcast Revengeance. Thanks also for listening, if that is your flavor of consuming podcasts. He's been Dan, he's been Gruv, I've been Jan, and you have been beautiful. Also, special congratulations to our dear friend Emma Fife for getting married.
Yay, congratulations.
See ya next week, everybody, for another episode of Giant Bombcast. Until then, goodbye.
Click the stick.
You can't click the 64 stick. There's no L3 on it.
Clack the stick. You're clacking it.
Clack. All right.
No, there's no R3.
yeah,
You're,
take
Do you
us
think
out
you
on
could
some
tell
clacking.
the difference between just on sound, the 64 or the GameCube stick?
well, now I'm looking at it. I'm like, I could probably memorize that, but
Close your
I
eyes.
do.
Close your eyes.
Okay, everyone close your eyes.
Okay.
Close your eyes. Are you ready? Okay. Hang on.
Can you do the other one now?
Yeah. Okay. Here's the other one.
I think that's the N64, and I think the first one was the GameCube.
Yeah.
You're correct. You're correct.
Oh, hey.
Because it's got the like 8-way, like you can hear the clink, clink,
you can
clink,
hear
clink,
the
clink,
more
clink, clink
frequent,
there.
the frequency of the clacks.
This
Yeah.
is smoother. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know about the stick click in, and when my brother told me when I was playing, I think Metal Gear Solid at his house, he's like, just use R3. I'm like, you're an idiot. There is no R3. And he's like, oh yeah, because I was such a shitty like know-it-all gamer guy. He very much was happy when he got to go like, here it is, you dumbass.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Painted in black. Also, look forward to new merch on the Giant Bomb store to prep for the fall and winter season.
Yeah, it looks really good.